My name's Latoya Fletcher, and I'm from Berwick, Maine. And I'm 19 years old. I went to the middle school, and I started getting into trouble a lot for just little rules, like chewing gum or whatever. And I thought it was cool to be in trouble and have to go to detention or ISS. So I spent a lot of time in there. But my grades were okay. I still passed. When I got in trouble, other kids thought I was cool. So, of course it doesn't make sense to me now, but yeah, I got more attention being in trouble and just more attention from the teachers. And then in 10th grade, if they saw me walking around, they wouldn't really say anything. They'd just be like, "Oh, Latoya, you need to go back to class," but I wouldn't get in trouble, and they wouldn't call home, or they just kind of let me do what I wanted. And when you have your senior project, you're supposed to pick a teacher that you really looked up to or whatever, and I didn't really know who I was gonna pick. And yeah, I had a boyfriend who didn't go to school, so that was a bad decision. So I started skipping school, but it was really hard to keep up my grades and skip school. And my mom doesn't know to use the computer, so you can go and check how you're doing in class if you were there, if you did your homework. It's called Power School. So my mom was kind of left out of the loop, so she wasn't being notified that I was in that school. I just started going to parties a lot, drinking, putting myself in bad situations, and lying to my parents about where I really was. And so I actually got into a drinking and driving accident. Two of my friends died in my accident. So that was really hard, and it just I didn't want to do anything anymore. So. Sorry, I don't want to cry. They waited about 3 months, and they just charged me I didn't get arrested or anything, and I was out on bail. So basically, I was just waiting to go to prison. So I was about 17, and I was just too stressed out, I think, and I didn't really know what was going on. No one was really telling me anything. And I was having a hard time, so I was just grieving and trying to know what I was gonna do with my life. I didn't know how long I was gonna be going to prison or anything like that. And I just didn't want to go to school anymore. I had too many absences to graduate, actually. I pled out, yeah. I got a 3.5 to 8, so. They have their own school here called Granite State High School, and I wanted my diploma because I spent so much time working towards it that I wanted it. And it helped here that they had, the resources. Plus they sit down and talk to you more about okay, what do you plan on doing with your life? Or, do you like what we're covering? Do you understand it? Which I know is can't happen all the time, and it's not always the school's fault with budget and class size, and as far as my schoolwork goes and how my high school could have helped me more, maybe give more help to the average kids who need it and not just kids who are in dire need of that. I mean, they had programs there and stuff, a learning center for disabilities, but the problem with that was that you're not allowed in there unless you're have a diagnosed learning disorder. So I may not have a learning disorder, but I needed help with my math homework. So it was like some kids got to get up and leave during tests and go to the learning center and people would help you, and like other kids couldn't really do that. So I was always like, why do they, like, I'd be like, why do they get to go get help? And the teacher would just be like, be quiet. Like, so if I had a daughter and when she's in school, I'd try and be more involved. I mean, not that my mom wasn't, like she would ask me, how are your grades, what's going on, where's your report card, but I would try and be involved in the everyday stuff. Like make sure that she's doing it, like see if she needs help, like sit down with her. I'd probably set up homework times. I don't know, I feel like I might be like a strict mom just because everything I know, and I'll just be like, okay, well, I know what I was doing, so I would just probably try and prevent it more than anything before it got to that point. Like just more structure, I think. Structure is like a key thing. My parents were just like, did everything they could, I guess. If they had maybe known a little more, they could have stopped more of it, but they tried, and you can't always, like, if you're, like, I really wanted to do what I wanted to do, and I did it, so.